All right, welcome. I am G-Paw, and this is actually my second Raid Shadow Legends video. In this one, we're going to be talking about Strategos Islin, the High Elf. And this is the fragment fusion going on currently for the next couple weeks. If you go over here, Strategos Islin, you can earn the shards, the 100 shards, to unlock this champion. And this champion looks badass. In this video, we're going to break down the kit of Strategos Islin, talk about if it's good, bad, the ugly, all that good stuff, unfiltered, unadulterated. I don't know if that's the word, but we're going to break it down and whether or not you should skip this champion. And to save you time right now, this champion is ass. A shitty, terrible champion, terrible kit. Half the shit he does only works half the time. And his cooldowns are insane. Not only do you have to spend out the ass to get this champion, you then got to book him with your legendary tomes that you can't farm routinely, and he sucks. Okay, so let's actually go ahead and dive in here. The event did start the other day. It's going to last till around September 12th. He's a legendary defensive champion, Magic Affinity, and we all know there's too many Magic Affinities out there. They're hard countered, and everybody starts off with Magic champions, so it's not the greatest that he's a Magic Affinity champion. Now, he is a high elf, and there's a ton of high elves like the Arbiter that are phenomenal. So this champion is not necessarily one that you need to get in any way, shape, or form. There is 8 events. There's 8 tournaments going on. And for me personally, from my perspective, is there's 3 artifact enhancement events, and you need between 5 and I would say 15 to 20 million gold to do each one of these. I am not spending between 15 and 20 or 15 and 60 million silver on 3 of these events. That is terrible. It's atrocious that this game even wants you to do that, right? Now, if this was for an amazing champion, maybe. But this champion, as you'll see here in a moment, is not that great. On top of that, you have to spend tons and tons of energy doing these champion training events, these dungeon divers events. Oh, and guess what? 8 more tournaments where you have to do another champion training, Fire Knight, Spider, Dragon, Ice, all the dungeons you have to compete in to get these fragments. Even if you don't want to farm these dungeons for the gear because you don't need that gear or something, right? You're still forced to do the farming in there, which isn't terrible, but the energy it costs to do it is insane. And then last but not least, we all hate Champion Chase Tournament. We all hate the Summon Rush event. Free to play, light spender, or new player, you're never going to have enough shards here. And if you're not spending thousands of dollars, you can't even get anywhere in the points in those. And if you skip those events, everything else you do for the champion is worthless because you're not going to unlock them. So this is all the shards I've collected except one void I opened. And I think I did like 10 or 20 ancient shards to get my guaranteed allure. As I'll show you here, she was a guaranteed summon after so many shards that you open, and she's needed for Fire Knight, so it was a must. I went after her. She's phenomenal, great champion, right? So I went ahead and did that. But otherwise, even with the shards I have, it's not looking good. So I'll go and show you what one of these summoning events looks like and what you kind of need to even do one of these, right? So nope, not here. It's in the events, Summon Rush. So, for my shards, I can actually get 500 points for a Sacred, 120 for a Void, and 20 points for a Blue. We need 3,000 points to get the 15 fragments, right? So I have 3 Sacreds after 40 days. That's 1,500 points. I have about 15 of these. That's another 1,500 points. That gets us to the 3,000. That's after saving for 40 days and spending a little bit of money. And this is just the first Summon Rush. Let's go and look at the event here. The news. So scrolling down, that's the Summon Rush. Now, for the Champion Chase Tournament, I believe it's based on pulling epic and legendary champions to actually get the points. So you have to spend your shards hoping to get the epic and legendaries, to get the big chunk of points to unlock the 15 fragments plus 10. This is asinine because I just wasted all my shards for this, right? And then they expect me to buy more to do this. 100% that is a no-go. This champion needs to be skipped. They suck. Let's actually dive into the kit of Strategos Islin. So before we do that, let me summarize here. They make a bunch of tournaments and events, and they're all based around this champion for the next 2 weeks. He's right here in my face. I want to collect every champion in the game, right? I'm a hero collecting fanatic, champion collector fanatic. This is a champion collecting game, or is it? It feels bad. Basically, they're saying spend money or fuck off, is what they're telling me. Pardon my French, but it's the truth, right? And I mean, there's no other way to go about it. They're essentially slapping us in the face saying, too bad, wham, wham. Maybe we get 300 to 500 free energy a day. And what I mean by free is you have to play the game for several hours to get this energy. Oh, and then you got to do a bunch of quests, and they'll give you energy. But you just spent all that energy completing all the quests to get the energy. So are they really giving you anything? No. And then you have to spend it on this character if you wish to participate. And it's never enough to get the shards unlocked. So without spending money, I can't even get this champion, okay? In the Fire Knight or any of the tournaments, Dragon, Ice Golem, Spiders, you usually get about 1 point per energy spent. So at 1650 energy, this doesn't even last long enough for me to get enough energy to get these many points. And that's only if you're doing stage 13 or higher. Stage 13 actually gives you a chance at 6-star gear, and that's when you'll start getting more points in these tournaments. If you look here, 6-star gear actually gives you 20 points. 5-star gives you 15, 4 gives you 7. So if you're not doing stage 13 or higher, don't even do it because you're not getting enough points. You're actually getting like a half a point per energy spent. But once you start getting the 6-star gear, you actually end up averaging right around 1 point in these tournaments per energy spent. So it actually becomes feasible to some extent. But even then, with the bad RNG and stuff, or good RNG, that's still a lot of energy. So I don't even have the option as a light spender to even do this. I'm already giving them $20 a month, and I can't even do this. They want me to spend more. So I went ahead and I went over to the shop and I looked at some of the prices on these packs, right? This autumn sale is about what we need, some energy, right? So this is going to be $5. This is going to be $10. This is going to be 15 or 20 for this last one, and this is going to be 5. So let's go $15 total. Let's say this is 15, low ball, right? That's $30, and another 5, 35. So with tax, we're looking at about between 40, or right around 40 bucks for all this energy. And the energy would help. Would it be enough? I don't know with all the events and tournaments going on. I don't think it would, though. And that's $40 extra on top of the 20 I already spent. And then we might be able to complete this. Then we'd have to buy some shards, right? Let's go see what they want for shards. I can buy this one and get some extra points, maybe, if I get the good drops. Hey, here's some more shards, another $30. Hey, these are worth 20 points a piece, $25. But guess what? You can get an extra one, and I'll guarantee you this one's 25, this one's going to be 50. Hey, $30 for 7 shards. These are worth 120 a piece. Do you get what I'm saying? They want you to spend more and more. So this champion isn't even obtainable unless you're willing to spend hundreds, if not thousands of dollars on this game, which it's called a game, a video game, a mobile game. So just totally sucks. Feels bad, right? I got that bad taste in my mouth. I'm like thinking to myself, well, I really like the game. I like collecting the champions, and if this champion is any good, I might go after this, right? I have a little extra money. I work all day. I work for a living. Let's go after this champion. Well, let's look at him. He looks badass, dude. With the shield, the blue glowing knife. All these champions coming out lately have this blue glowing stuff on their weapons. Quite phenomenal. Look at the detail here. On the shield, you can see where it's been used in battle. That is badass, dude. I love the graphics, the detail. Look on his helmet, man. You can see like where it's like weathered, kind of weathered-ish, worn. I don't know what's on the back here. Maybe that's just, yeah, it's like a reflection or something, or a shadow. It's badass looking. The chainmail underneath, yeah. I love it. The champion looks cool. I want this champion, right? And you can't go wrong getting a legendary defensive-based champion. Defensive-based is huge because they're going to be tanky. You're going to be stacking the defense down here over and over because his damage is based off of defense. And even if he doesn't do damage, he's going to be tanky and hard to kill, right? So hopefully he can live long to be able to do what he needs to do. Let's actually dive into the kit here and see what he does. So here on the A1, he's going to attack the enemy twice. A 2-hitter on the A1. Each hit's going to give you a 35% chance of placing provoke, meaning that enemy's got to attack him with the basic. That's awesome. So he's making him come after him, and he's high in defense, right? So very little damage. Great skill, I would think. Once every 3 times, you have a chance of getting that. Now, when he is counterattacking, the chance increases to 50%. Okay, so how do we get counterattack? Well, we could equip this guy in 6 pieces of retaliation, giving us that 45% chance to counterattack every time we're hit. That's a 45% chance, right? And you're using 6 pieces of retaliation, which kind of sucks when you could be going after something like perception or one of them better sets, Savage, all that other kind of sets to boost other stats, right? But you actually have to waste your sets on being able to have a chance at retaliating, not even guaranteeing it, right? So the A1, it's a 2-hitter. That's really all you got there. On the A2, Hindrance. Now this is a nice skill. He's going to attack all enemies. It's going to be based off his defense, which we're going to stack to the teeth, right? Before attacking, he has a 75% chance of decreasing the duration of all enemy buffs by 1 turn. Now let me say that again. He's a legendary champion. This guy is legendary. I just told you we're going to spend hundreds of dollars to even go after this champion. And he's going to reduce their duration of their buffs by 1 turn. He's not going to erase them. He's not going to steal them or copy them. But he's going to just take 1 turn off the 3 or 4 turn buffs, right? Or the 2 turn buff. He's going to cut it in half, the time in half. So it's not a terrible skill. It's happening to everybody. He's attacking them all. If you build him high in defense and crit rate, he's going to do a good amount of damage right there, right? So it's quite phenomenal. Now, he's also going to have a chance of placing a 30% decreased speed debuff for 2 turns. That's huge. That is a great skill. You're going to need to stack accuracy along with defense on this champion. And when that lands, that's great. It's going to last for 2 turns. But it's 2 turns out of 4 turns. And then if you invest tomes, it's going to be 2 turns out of 3 turns. So that's not terrible by any means. But every 3 turns, you have a chance of putting this out, right? And when this lands, it's great. So that's not such a bad skill on the A2. Let's go on to his A3. The big hitter, the ultimate or something. Flawless Strategos. Now, bear in mind, this has a 6-turn cooldown. You can get it down to a 4-turn, but it's going to place a 50% ally protection buff on all allies except this champion for 2 turns. Place a 60% increased defense buff on all allies for 2 turns. Now, it's also going to give us our counterattack finally for 2 turns. Then place a shield buff on this champion for 2 turns. The value of the shield is based off his defense, which is going to be huge, right? But every 6 turns, you're going to get that shield. Every 6 turns, you're going to get a counterattack. You know what I'm saying? This is a 6-turn cooldown, and these effects only last 2 turns. That's a third of the time you're going to have defense up. 2/3 of the time, you're going to get smacked in the face. So that's a shitty skill. But if we book it, we spend our legendary tomes that are so hard to get, it'll be down to 4 turns. That's awesome, right? I wasted a ton of legendary books to get this down to 4 turns. Guess what? These last 2 turns. So half the time, he'll be helping your team, and then half the time, it'll be like he's not even on the team. This champion sucks ass. Let's look at his aura. This is an amazing aura in all battles. Accuracy is huge, much needed. But it's everywhere. And the rest of his kit and how to get this champion, essentially, is just not worth the aura. So overall, this champion is dog shit. And I'm saying dog shit because my dogs are barking at my cat in the background. He's not worth spending money on. Amazing looking champion. It just sucks that they want you to spend so much money to unlock him. And then his kit only works half the time. 2 turns. And that's if you book him, it works half the time. If you don't book him, it's only going to work a third of the time. That is terrible. 33% of the time, his kit will actually do something for your team. So just bear that in mind. His kit is just not... It's not there for the money you have to spend. And then when you do spend the money, it only works half the time. So my overall opinion of Strategos Islin is aesthetically, visually, phenomenal. Looks badass with his arm guard, this shoulder. The shoulder here, it looks cool. That's kind of nutty how it's just like flat on there. Why? You think they'd have it like wrapping around the whole shoulder. I don't like that. That looks stupid. My bad. It'd been better if it actually wrapped around the whole shoulder. But the rest of me looks really cool. And I love shields, especially when they take the time to put the graphics in the back. That's what I don't mean with this flat piece of metal on his shoulder. What is up with that? That's kind of dumb. Just saying. Looks cool. Kit sucks. Definitely wouldn't spend a red cent to get this champion. And I would not put my legendary tomes into this champion. So for me, it's a hard pass. And to sum it all up, I'd have to spend money to get him. I'm not doing that. Because the champion sucks. His kit only works half the time. Definitely do not go after this champion. And it sucks that we have to stare at him for the next 2 weeks till September 12th before his face will disappear and we'll be able to forget that they tried to get people to spend money on this champion. Now, if you have spent money and you are going after this champion, cool, man. Thank you for supporting the game, and that's totally your choice. If you love the champion, go get him and enjoy him. You can find a use somewhere for this champion. But personally, in my personal opinion, it's just not worth it. That's all I got on Strategos Islin. Definitely like and subscribe to hear Jeepaw's thoughts on what's going down in Raid Shadow Legends, my personal opinions and thoughts, unfiltered, unhindered, and unimpressioned. Otherwise, we'll catch you all in the next video.